I kind of heard about this guy Dan Mackey, and I hated his guts before I'd ever met him.
I couldn't stand you. I don't think 10 years ago I genuinely thought that we'd have an office this nice with such a great team and a suite of products to be proud of.
I did. I did.
You did?
I suppose.
I think you hoped.
Oh, hoped. Yeah.
Yeah,
I suppose
hoped.
from even before I went to college, and when I was young, I heard about Bill Gates and all this. I was always wanted to build a big company, and I was hoping to meet more like-minded people in college. Was a little bit disappointed for the first years, and finally bumped into Dan, who's the only other person I'd met who had similar ambitions. Back in 2006, 2007, we knew we needed to get out of consultancy, and we stumbled across a gap in the project management market. We started using the market-leading project management app. It was really terrible, and their support was really bad. And one day, I had a restless night, and I came in the morning and talked to Dan. I said, I think there's a gap in the market here, and he said, I've been thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So our very first office was in front of Bully's out in Douglas. There was a friend of ours who had a web design business. Based upstairs here, it used to be Bully's Cafe, and she offered that we could take half the office and pay half the rent, and the rent was dirt cheap. I remember I used to have to walk out from town because I couldn't afford the bus and walk out here every day. Started with just one desk in the corner and started doing websites for people. Then with my buddy Cormac, and Dan came on board around that time then. Yeah. And we were based here for the first year.
Crammed in the back, three of us.
In
and
one
Sharon.
tiny room.
Yeah.
And Sharon. Yeah. We got our first e-commerce website here. What's that called?
Common store,
yeah.
We were boys. They turned into Unique Learning then.
Yeah. We were building the website with C++ backend and our own database. It was the days before you could get a commercial database.
Super database. The file system database you wrote. So we outgrew Sharon's place in Douglas then. Sharon herself was getting busier and busier. So our next office was in Pembroke Street in Cork.
Cormac's dad encouraged us to get a bit more serious about it. He gave us a loan to get our
£10,000 at the time.
£10,000, a lot of money at the time for us. And we got our first office in the city centre. I remember being really proud and excited with that office. It was kind of cool working in the centre of town as well instead of out in the village. It's gas. For years we were trying to get them to stick up a sign and they wouldn't.
How many
Stairs a million times.
7 years? This is the very first one we used to call Siberia.
First office, one big room, 3 of us in there. 4 of us in there.
4 of us, yeah.
4 desks. Fairly grubby layout. And that's when we realised we needed a project management system.
And freezing.
Yeah, we started there.
Then we did the big move to the bigger office.
Which this became available. It's very familiar. Years coming in.
Even though it's 7 years since we were here, it actually feels like yesterday.
How many years were we here?
5 years, I think.
That's unreal.
We're 3 years in there in Siberia, and 2 years with Siberia in there.
Yeah.
So it was that office where we launched. This day, 10 years ago, that's where we hit the go button. The
desks were fairly basic. I mean, they were like something out of a school. There was cracks in the window. There was paint peeling off the walls. There wasn't enough power plugs, but it didn't matter. There was that kind of sense of excitement about this whole adventure starting, and we had no idea what the future would hold for us.
I remember the late nights and the weekends painting that office the first time.
Yeah,
a horrendous blue colour. That was the colour of the logo at the time, and we had Digital Crew. It was a ship on a sea of ones and zeros, and we had a big sign up. So
we had this idea to name Digital Crew, that we're a team, we're a crew working together, and we're sailing the storms of, I don't know what kind of madness of ones and zeros. It was kind of quirky logo, and blue became our kind of default colour for some reason. In 2007, 8 years after we'd started a company, we finally launched teamworkpm.net. Terrible domain name, on October 4th, 2007.
10 to 12 at night, just the 2 of us.
Gave each other a high five, did no fanfare, didn't do any public launch or anything, we went home to bed. That
launched, and we thought nobody know about it, nobody find it. We didn't do any marketing, we didn't do any sales, we didn't have any sales team. It was just 2 of us answering support when we could, frantically fixing some of the bugs. And we still had it on a shared server with our clients up in Dublin at the time. And we spent all our time improving the product, and at the end of that month, what did we make? $198, is it?
$191.
$191.
after putting this out on the web, somehow somebody somewhere found us and decided to pay us money, which was great.
Yeah, and that kind of validated the idea that if some other company wanted to put their hard-earned cash to something we built, and it really kicked us on to blow it up.
We started, we hooked up Homer Simpson, used to play Pizza Money every time we get a sale, and we're kind of started 1 or 2 sales a month. So randomly we'd be working away on consultancy work, and then Homer Simpson would ring out around the office. Pizza Money. And then that started getting more frequent. There was a couple of sales every week, and then there was a couple of sales every day, and then it got to the point where
we had to turn
it off. It was just too frequent and a distraction. But we started also, I suppose, working on the product more. I mean, we'd already decided that Fridays were our product day, the day we work and treat ourselves like our own client. But we also spent every weekend and every waking opportunity we got.
Yeah, Monday to Thursday at night time, I remember sitting up in the house freezing, typing away in Teamwork and loving every single minute of it.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah,
it was really
and then
enjoyable.
Couldn't wait till Friday come around where both of us are working on it. We reached about 30,000 monthly recurring revenue, and we sat down and we said, this is a real business.
I think we seen, even from like when we got to 15,000 revenue, even at the rate it was growing, we knew that we were going to have to eventually get rid of the consultancy business.
Yeah.
And we kind of just picked the magical figure. We said, all right, when we get to 30, at that point, we have to get rid of our consultancy business, because it is this huge distraction that is just not where we want to go to our career. We don't enjoy the work.
But crucially, it was that money coming in every month solved a lot of the problems that we struggled with for years, like cash flow. And, you know, we didn't do things initially, like we didn't put the VAT money away in another account and we spent that. So it kind of freed us up from the financial side of the business, and we could just work on product. And when we got to the 30,000 then, we made that decision that we would find a new office, make this its own kind of, this is our focus. We asked our staff at the time, do you want to come with us on this ride? Most of them did, few of them didn't.
Yeah, so I suppose we found a local company. We didn't want to burn all our existing clients that we'd built up a great relationship over the last 8 years.
Those guys are friends, and they still are to this day. You know, I still meet them.
So we actually found another company in Cork who were great guys, Granite. Granite took our name, so they took the Digital Crew name. We introduced them to all our clients, and we gave them our entire book of business. And I remember the guys asking us, "Just great guys, what do you want for this?" And we were like, "We don't want anything for it. Just please look after our clients and treat them like your own, and treat them with respect, and just carry on the great work." And I must say the guys did a great job. So we were up to about 8 people inside town, and we were out of space, and we decided we needed to move. So we finally found this beautiful office just outside the city, North Point Business Park.
It was like a palace compared to what we were used to.
Yeah. We were looking for an office space for about 3 months, and we finally found North Point House, and we got a great deal on square footage. So we moved in here on the first floor. Pretty big office. We were delighted with ourselves. We had a proper boardroom, we had proper offices.
And a receptionist, Adrian.
Receptionist, yeah. And I suppose being out of the city as well, we stopped popping out for coffee all the time.
We actually got serious.
Got really serious about things, yeah. So I remember coming out here and having like the marble tile and stuff, and we were kind of blown away by the place compared to what we're used to at this stage.
Then we tried to get our Coke fridge in here.
I
broke the roof.
We broke the roof. It's still broken. So that was our first office here in North Point. And yeah, they've changed it a fair bit. But
it was a big open plan in this section, and then we had small cubicle offices at the back for them and the meeting room.
Teamwork really started taking off for us, so we started hiring more people, and we ran out of space in here eventually. So then we moved upstairs. So actually, I don't know if my key card will still even work, or we still own this office. Hey! And we now use this as a co-working space we give out for free to help more startups in Cork and Ireland. So this was a beautiful boardroom, and we turned it into, we didn't typically need board meetings.
Yeah, we actually didn't have any meetings, so
very few, yeah.
But we did like to play games.
So we turned this into our games room, which is still pretty cool. Lots of good times in here playing Bomberman. Yeah, missed the place actually. So idea was born, launched Teamwork, 10,000 users, PayPal, hit a tipping point, stopped consultancy. That's when we moved into this building. Lots of great features. Launched Teamwork Chat, got 1.5 million users, Teamwork Desk. And here we are 2 years later, and we've left this building. Actually, updating this became a bit of a pain, which is why we didn't put it in the new office.
Actually, what's interesting here is that out of all the staff, there's only 2 not currently working with us, which is actually a good testament.
Here we go, the biggest milestone we ever had in our company when we launched teamwork.com.
Yeah.
So when we launched Teamwork back in 2007, October 2007, we launched with the terrible domain name teamworkpm.net. Captain Hindsight says we should have called it getteamwork.com or Teamwork App.
There's a bit of a story there though that we actually don't tell. So we had a content management system called Teamwork CMS. Teamwork was an important name in our company. We used to call all our products Teamwork something. So when we needed to build a project manager, we went Teamwork PM.
Teamwork was the natural name.
It was, yeah. And it just felt right all those years ago. So, and teamwork.com or teamworkpm.com was taken. So we went with teamworkpm.net. But it never felt right. It never sat well with us. And our clients were telling us.
Because every now and again, we had a really strong product with terrible marketing. And every now and again, we just be chatting and saying, if we had teamwork.com, wouldn't that be amazing? So we'd reach out to this guy, a domain squatter who was sitting on the domain name. And we just every now and again ping him, and he'd typically just reply. A link would be all he would reply. And when you follow that link, it was a list of all these websites, one-word websites that had sold for ludicrous money. Like
sex.com
for 18 million, pets.com for 20 million, insure.com for 18 million. So the guy was looking for crazy money for this.
And every now and then, every couple of months, when we'd look at teamworkpm.net and we'd go, we'd try him again. And I remember sending him an email and getting back, 5 million, that kind of stuff. You sent him another email, he was still...
So one night, we kind of forgot about it again. It was only every now and again we'd think of this. One night I was in the pub locally, and the person I was with went to the bathroom, and I just thought I'd chance my arm. I sent this guy an email saying, hey, final offer, €50,000 for the domain name. Thinking, I don't know, I was just chancing my arm. And the guy replied back instantly, same lowball offer. I remember being raging at that. So I banged off and I said, for the love of God, will you just give me a realistic price? And the guy banged it back straight away. I'd consider $675,000.
He was definitely in a pub on the other side of the world.
So I replied back, sold. And then he was like, are you serious? And I was like, yes. He said, I'll send you on the details. So
I remember you saying you'd have to pass it by your board.
Yeah. I said, I'll just run this by my board and I'll get back to you, as if we had a board. But it took me, I remember telling my now wife at the time about it, and that I had to go into work in the morning and tell Dan and Billy, our CFO.
I'd say it was 2 days before you actually got the courage to tell me.
I wanted to tell them the first day and I just couldn't get the words out of my mouth. And I can remember coming home to my wife, she's like, did you tell them? I said, I couldn't do it. So the second day I finally called yourself and Billy into, for a meeting, and I phrased it as I think I've got this offer, I think we should do it. And the guys were like, looked at the bank account. It was just about every penny we had in the bank account. I think we would have had 30,000 left over.
I don't think we would even have had that much.
Yeah. And we'd always been a very frugal company. We
made a decision years ago. We'd always have a buffer in the bank for a rainy day. And we stuck to that religiously when we started getting serious about the business. And this was a decision that could actually empty the bank account, and we would have no buffer, and we had more staff to pay. Basically, and we had rents to pay. So
the two guys were, you were a bit resistant, just because I remember you saying, look, let's do it in a year's time, 2 years' time, when we have a bit more money. And then I pulled my Martin Luther King speech out of the back. I was like, I don't know about you, but this whole thing about I don't want to look back when I'm 80 years old with regrets. And when I said that, Dan looked at me in the eye and he said, let's do it.
It was the right thing to do. In our relationship of 18 years, you would always be the accelerator and I'd be the brake. And we'd constantly juggle that kind of relationship, and I was the brake in this scenario, but it was the right thing to do. So we both put the accelerator down.
We have a good balance there, because I probably go forward too fast and be a bit gung-ho, and Dan be the stabilising influence. I'd be like, all right, look, let's get this done first and then let's do it.
It's amazing to see where teamwork is being used. It's out in Afghanistan, and there are these pregnant ladies up in the mountains of Afghanistan, and they use teamwork to coordinate how they can get these donkeys with donkey saddles up the mountains of Afghanistan to safely bring these women down to hospitals. I mean, when we built this 10 years ago, I didn't even know where Afghanistan was. I mean, I didn't think that it would be used in Disney.
Really
I didn't
cool.
think it would be used in Microsoft Game Studios. I didn't think it would be used in Spotify, PayPal, eBay, all brands that I love, and
So
I'm proud of that.
Our tiny little company that we started in a tiny little office here in Cork, that's having this huge impact. I mean, we've this world map, and in every country in the world, we've customers popping up all over it. We're kind of spreading now all over Australia, and in little islands out in the Pacific, in the middle of nowhere. We zoom in the map, and there's a tiny little island there, and they have 20 teamwork users. It's kind of amazing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we used to go into the office and we'd have the big map projected onto the wall, and we used to always look at this poor bugger up in Siberia somewhere, always wondering what is he doing up there using teamwork.
We were running out of room again, and that's when this building became available.
I remember we were down having coffee at Costa, and we just looked up and we saw this building.
This beautiful building had been sitting here for a few
12
years.
I think, yeah.
It was just built at the wrong time, had been sitting idle for years, a complete shell of a building. And it was perfect. It was right beside where we went for coffee every day. And it was 3 beautiful floors, gorgeous design, and we could do what we wanted with it. We wanted to create a space where everybody could come together, to have lunch together, to mingle together. We built games rooms, we put slides in, we put music rooms in, we put hidden rooms in. And we've made this really funky, quirky, cool office that has really added to the culture of the whole place. And now here we are, less than 8 months later, and we're completely out of space again. Welcome to Teamwork Campus 2. This is our future home, 4.7 acres of complete waste at the moment, but we're going to turn it into something beautiful. If you look over here, that's our old office. We're hoping to get 700 people on this site, build an epic campus that can be our European headquarters for the next couple of years. When we moved into Teamwork Campus 1, we were kind of constrained by the existing building, but with this, it's a whole blank canvas, and we've got some epic new ideas on how we can make the perfect workplace for our staff. We're going to actually try and incorporate some of the ideas of the park over here into this area around here. So dig up all this concrete, have a nice environment. When you look out your window, you see something nice. And then add a zip line.
Yeah. A zip line?
Yeah, a zip line from the roof of the new building. I think would be an epic way to get home.
One of the things I'm most proud about is our staff and how they've embraced our culture and our ethos.
Absolutely.
And our fanatical customer support, our
approachability, or really strong
openness, I think.
Yeah, ethos.
I mean, we can't possibly get to talk to everybody in the company anymore, but looking at the team leads and the quality of people in here, I don't think anybody's going to feel isolated.
Yeah, I think we're really proud of the team we've built up here, all 150 of them.
So how would you describe the last 10 years?
Definitely, there's been a lot of stress. People, it turns out software is the easy part, people is the hard part, and we've had to learn a lot, lots of learning on our part. I mean, we went from just being pure focused on the technology to embracing actually being a CEO and CTO, and just learning a lot. It's been a bit of a rush.
And handing our baby over to other people to work on.
It's tough leaving go.
Yeah. So we're very thankful for our customers and our staff. We'd be nowhere without you, and we really appreciate the support from all around the world that people give us in our last 10 years.
Thanks for everything.